All right, I'd like to take this opportunity and welcome everybody here for attending this groundbreaking for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Marine facility. Actually, this process started back in 2006 through a grant that was provided with the Homeland Security. This is the final phase of that process and the groundbreaking. Just to introduce who I am, my name is Lonnie McDonald. I'm the Assistant Chief over Special Events, and part of my responsibilities are the Marine unit and getting this facility going, so we're working on that. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce some of the members of the Sheriff's Office that are my immediate staff that are here and responsible for this. Start with Director Michael Edwards, Operations Division. We have Chief Robert Connors and Sergeant Leonard Proper. I'd also be remiss if I didn't say this project would not have been possible without the dedication and the hard work of a lot of different people in the agencies that were involved to the various obstacles that we had through this process through 2006, as you can imagine. And I'd like to take the time to mention some of those people now. As Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation, Kelly Borey, Jim Suber, Waterways Coordinator. That's all Jim. Councilman Clay Yarborough from the very beginning, and also Councilman Crescent-Benny, John Crescent-Benny, on the waterways development. Also, we had some law enforcement partners involved in this. Captain Klein with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, appreciate that, and officers with the Marine unit that were very instrumental in this. They did a lot of stuff on their own time, and a lot of stuff that went on to get it done. Rob Winslow, Pete Goody, and Bill Malden had a lot to do with that. But I'd like to say thank you to those, and the sheriff's going to mention some others, but and the mayor. But having said that, I'd like to turn it over now to the mayor, John Payton, say a few words and continue. Yes.
Thank you, Lonnie. Good afternoon. It's great to be in Arlington, and appreciate the turnout, and certainly our partners that are a part of this project. We always like to celebrate projects that are not funded by the general fund. And this one is not funded by the general fund. It's funded by a Homeland Security grant combined with some of the DOPA money the sheriff collects from those that are doing less than good in our community. So we're going to have a facility here that is going to complement our efforts on the St. Johns River, which we recognize as probably one of our greatest assets and resources in Duval County, a source of great pride as an environmental asset, but also a huge economic driver. And I think when we look at the big plans we have for the Jacksonville Port Authority and the hopes for more boating attractions and tourism and our already active waterways, this facility will be a nice complement to providing public safety in this important asset, the St. Johns River. So we appreciate that. I certainly want to recognize Don Redmond, who's been I've been working with on the City Council, who's been a real champion for a lot of the river causes. And of course, John Crescent-Benny, congratulations on your decisive victory of re-election to the City Council. And of course, Clay Yarborough, whose district we're in, who still faces election. He's up for election. And Lindsey Brock is here, who's challenging Clay Yarborough. So Arlington's going to have some healthy debate over the future of this region. One of the joys of this job has been having a great partner in crime fighting, and that has been Sheriff John Rutherford. And I just leaned over to John and I said, look, I'm going to miss some of the people I've had the pleasure of working with these past 8 years. Probably won't miss the game as much. But the sheriff has been a real partner, and we've taken on some really ambitious goals. And one of those was to reduce violence in the city. And we're very hopeful this year. Hopefully in May we'll be able to announce that Jacksonville is no longer the murder capital in Florida. We've held that distinction for over 10 years. This is something that everyone in this community has taken seriously to try to change. And I will tell you, a lot of the change started at the top of the Sheriff's Department. When you combine that with the prevention, the intervention programming, along with the great work of Angela Corey and the State Attorney's Office, a lot of good things have happened. So this is my opportunity to brag about our sheriff, who is also celebrating re-election, and to say thank you for all you do to help our city and to be a great partner. Please join me in welcoming our Sheriff, John Rutherford.
Well, first I want to begin by thanking our Department of Homeland Security Maritime
Port folks who gave us this grant of $3.2 million, which we then matched with $1.1 million, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the dopers out there. We appreciate your money, and I can't think of a better way for the City of Jacksonville and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and our council to spend their money. And I can tell you it's a very important expenditure when you consider that Jacksonville has 125 miles of navigable waterway, which we are partly responsible for securing. And in fact, there are in Jacksonville 35,000 permitted boaters that travel that 125 miles. In addition to that, there's another 50,000 boaters annually that visit our 125 miles of navigable water. So this is going to make it safer for them, safer for those who live here, and it also will give us greater efficiency and effectiveness at protecting some of the critical infrastructures that we have, that being, number one, our cargo terminals, our petroleum terminals, and then our other port operations, some of which the mayor mentioned earlier. So I want to particularly thank all of them. Also, I want to mention U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the State Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Thank you all for being here, Captain. Thank you guys for all your participation. And also the U.S. Coast Guard. Thank you for partnering with us on this as well. And I want to say a special word of thank you to Rob Winslow. I know many times over the last 5 years in the permitting process, he's had to beat feet over to wherever you have to go to get those certificates done and signed and all the permitting that allows this to happen. So,
not a
Rob,
local problem. Not a local.
No, not a local problem. Not a local problem. But thank you very much for the tenacity that you displayed in that, Rob, and I thank you for that. And congratulations again, Mayor. This is going to be a great testament to your commitment to public safety in this community and the City Council as well. Thank you all for being great partners in our fight against crime. So with that, I will turn it back over to Clay Yarborough. Councilman Yarborough.
Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Good afternoon. It's good to see everybody this afternoon. Just briefly, most of the facts about the property and what the endeavor here is and has been since this project was conceived and then began to get underway has been spoken and been mentioned. But I did want to thank Kelly for her work on this, and then certainly the sheriff and his staff, the mayor and his administration on this. It is a good use of those funds. I agree with what has been said about that. That's great that we were able to avoid using the general fund dollars, and we can use the forfeiture money and then also be the recipients of the grant from DHS at the federal level. So I'm excited about that. Also at the community level, as the district representative, the sheriff, when this was in our committees down at City Council, Councilman Cressamany and I asked about the impact of the community up here and whether or not we would still maintain the access to Blue Cypress through the boardwalk and the other access points that we have up here for the community, and he assured us that we would, and we appreciate that on behalf of the community and the others who use the parks and who live in the neighborhoods up in this area as well. So it's always good to have more JSO presence, so that's definitely a plus. We're excited about that, and we think it's a great compliment to the area. And then, as the sheriff mentioned about the extra security that it will afford us the ability to provide at our terminals and then the many bridges that we have, that's one thing that the Marine unit has to be concerned about as well. The bridges, the petroleum terminals, cargo, and the DOD terminals and all of that. We're thankful for that and thankful that we have such a strong presence in the hard work of JSO. So my hat's off to them too. I thank you all for coming today. And Mr. Nooney, the contractor, I'm not sure if he would be speaking too, but we definitely wanted to thank him too. And they're underway, and it hasn't taken very long to get it started and to move forward. So appreciate all of you being here today, and thank you very much. Lonnie, is it back to you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I failed to introduce, everybody knows Councilman Cressamany, I'm assuming that you do, and Mr. Rick Nooney with Nooney Construction. So, Councilman, did you have anything you wanted to say?
I think everything's been said, but I think we have to turn the clock back a little bit and give credit to an organization that we wouldn't be standing on this piece of ground if they hadn't stepped forward, and that's the Arlington Lions Club. Those folks had a member that owned some property that donated it to the city. I think this parcel here that the boat facility is being built on, we actually purchased, but you know, a heartfelt thanks to the Arlington Lions Club for having the foresight to donate this property specifically for recreational purposes, because it's been a great asset to not only the Arlington community. I see people bringing their boats and families from miles and miles around Arlington coming up here. So thanks to the Lions Club. I'm not sure if anybody's here for representing that organization today, but we appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Okay, that'll conclude this portion. Now we'll convene over the shovels and.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Yeah, oh my
Good.
God.